this back up. Let's put this back up. There we go. All right. Yeah, I forget. That's why admin should be on. So, to our topic, no time to waste, strategies to tighten up your time management. Similarly to what we just talked about, I'm sure you guys hear discussions on time management. If this is your first discussion, welcome to the discussion on time management. If you've had these discussions before, welcome to your refresher. Welcome to your reminder. Hey, Jackie. Welcome to your reminder. You know, you can change your name so that it always comes up as Jackie. This is your reminder, because I can tell you guys that I am constantly looking at my schedule, because your priorities may change, and your life, what life is asking of you, changes. And so the way you had things scheduled and set up before doesn't always work, right? And so you have to, instead of trying to make a square peg fit in a round hole, instead of trying to make all these things that you have to do fit into your prior schedule, you should always, always, always be assessing, am I getting the highest and best use out of my time and my schedule? And so that's what today's reminder and primer is about. Jim Rohn has a quote, and you guys have probably heard this before. He says, if either you run the day or the day runs you, either you run the day or the day runs you. And I'm sure every one of us can think of days where the day completely ran us. Like, it was from phone call to text message to email to pop up, right? To meetings, to this urgent, to this fire. It just ran us ragged, right? I know as real estate professionals, there's probably more, you feel like there's more of those days than not, right? I always say, this is why I got into real estate. I was like, listen, this is not medical and this is not legal, right? Call the police or call the ambulance, right? At some point, turn it off, right? Like, this is not that. Like, you should not be calling me at 11:30 at night. Like, you know what I mean? If I'm in real estate, if the house is on fire, call the fire department. If someone is broken, call the police, right? If someone hurt themselves, call the ambulance. But I'm going to bed, right? And so when you start feeling rattled, I promise you, this is your test. When you are starting to feel just way burnt too thin, like you're burning the candle on both ends and in the middle, it's time to look at your calendar, right? It's time to look at your calendar, and it's time to look at who you are giving your time to and interacting with. The Angelique said, make sure your customers know your role. Exactly. It may be time to set up some barriers, right? So, no, you're good. We're going to just keep letting you back in. So the question for you is your jar full? Do you feel like my to-do list just keeps getting longer and longer and longer. I just keep flipping the page, right? Things just keep rolling over. You know how they say your PTO time will roll over? My list of things to do just keep rolling over. It just keeps rolling over. I'm not getting through my list of things to do. Is that you? Are you feeling that way, right? If you're feeling that way, then there's certainly a need to assess your time allocation. And then there's going to be a discussion about assessing your task allocation. Because one thing, and I know Angelique's gonna bust out laughing about this, one thing you're going to always hear me say is systems. And systems save you stress, time, energy, and money. Systems save you stress, time, energy, and money, right? And the systems, when we say that, it sounds very sophisticated, but it's very simple. And one of the very simple systems to stopping this day running us versus us running the day is to calendar, sit down and really look at our day and calendar our day. Now, with that being said, I want to show you guys something here. I showed this before. I want to show it again. I think it's a very good.
There's a well-known story about a university professor We wanted to make a point about how we make the most of our time. The professor stood before his class with some items in front of him. When the class began, without speaking, he picked up a large, empty jar and proceeded to fill it with rocks about 2 inches in diameter. He then asked the students if the jar was full. They agreed that it was full. So the professor then picked up a box of pebbles and poured them into the jar. He shook the jar lightly and watched as the pebbles rolled into the open areas between the rocks. The professor then asked the students again if the jar was full. They chuckled and agreed that it was indeed full this time. The professor picked up a box of sand and poured it into the jar. The sand filled the remaining open areas of the jar. Now, said the professor, I want you to recognize that this jar signifies your life. The rocks are the truly important things, such as family, health, and relationships. If all else was lost and only the rocks remained, your life would still be meaningful. The pebbles are the other things that matter in your life, such as work or school. The sand signifies the remaining small stuff and material possessions. If you were to put sand into the jar first, there is no room for the rocks or the pebbles. The same can be applied to your lives. If you spend all your time and energy on the small stuff, you will never have room for the things that are truly important. Pay attention to the things in life that are critical to your happiness and well-being. Take time to look after your health, play with your children, go for a run, write a letter to your grandmother. There will always be time to go to work, clean the house, or watch TV. Take care of the rocks first. The things that really matter. Set your priorities. The rest is just pebbles and sand.
How about that? How about that? Set your rocks first. Set your big rocks first. Then your pebbles, then your sand, and then your water. All right. I know, right? You just had to hear that over and over. It's super important, right? These are the things, and Crystal, Crystal, mind blown. Listen, set your big, that emoji is so funny. Set your big rocks first. Another conversation comes to mind, says, well, listen, emails, don't let people fill your inbox, your phone with their priorities. Think about it that way too. Like when people start firing off all their stuff, that's their priority. That's them executing on their priorities. And not to say that it isn't something that you should respond to, but do you need to respond to it right now? Or is it something that can be allocated? It can wait until the time that you have allocated to that thing, to emails, to phone calls, to text messages. If it's an email from a client that you're under contract with or something along those lines, they're going to get it because you have time allocated towards servicing clients anyway, right? So is your jar full? But what is your jar full with? Your jar being your day. Is your day filled with water? A bunch of trivial things. Is it filled with sand, which is, minor things? Is it filled with pebbles, which are things that they're important, but they're not urgent. They're not big rocks. Or is your day properly allocated and aligned with your priorities, right? With those being laid out as my big rocks, these are things that must happen, right? Then your pebbles, then your sand, then your water. Water just fills in. Like you don't even have to schedule water. It will fill in when it fills in, right? Sand, same thing. It will fill in when it fills in. But the big rocks and the pebbles, if there's a bunch of sand or water already in there, they're not going to fit, right? And so we're not even going to rush through this conversation today. Time. We have a finite amount of time. Now, with the right execution, some of us can get more out of a day than others. You guys know I always my idol, Jeff Bezos. I mean, that's efficiency on steroids, right? That's one man, but that one man has thousands and thousands. Out of one idea, you implemented systems to have thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of people. I'm going to take a step back. Most of you know, Amazon started with Jeff Bezos himself selling books online. And he would get the orders. He would pack the orders, pick the books, pack the books, take them to the post office. That's how Amazon started. Jeff Bezos himself and a friend would pick the books, pack the books, take the books themselves to the post office, right in his garage. Now, we can't even describe, we can't even see what's going on around us with regards to how Amazon is firing off. But it started with a guy with 7 days in a week, 168 hours in a week, 24 hours in a day, trying to figure out how to allocate his big rocks, his pebbles, his sand, and his water. With the goal in mind to obviously, make money. He had a business idea, but this guy still had a wife, and he has a new wife now, but that's a different conversation. Right? He still had life. He's still human. He still had to sleep, eat, travel, work. I mean, we know Elon Musk, he slept in the garage of Tesla when they were building that. But with that being said, after today's call, I want you guys to take into consideration, right? You're going to get a calendar and say, well, I have 7 days in a week. And this ties back into your business plan, right? So this is the small stuff. These are the small pieces. They say the minor details that you have to address in order to accomplish the bigger goal. Jeff Bezos had a business plan, right? You have a business plan. You should have a business plan, right? We all have a business plan. And that business there's tasks that we must complete in order to accomplish the goal of that business plan. And those tasks, no matter how much we beg, scream, plead, cry, we're still only going to get 7 days in the week, 168 hours in a week, 24 hours in a day. So I want you guys are going to go back and say, well, how much of this time do I need to sleep? Everybody's different in that regard. And everybody's doing different things. Some of y'all drinking gallons of Red Bull. But how much time what is your sleep time? And then even for the task that you're going to complete, keep in mind that you do have to have time to travel. You still have to shower. You still have to eat, right? And then how much of this time are you allocating towards work? Now, hello, some of us left a 9 to 5 to get a 24 hours, a 12 to 12, right? Surprise. Surprise. Some of us left the 8 hour to walk into a 12 hour and didn't even realize it. But you don't have to. You don't have to, right? It's up to you how much time you want to allocate towards the goal. Just understanding that based upon what's going on during that time period or who else is working towards that goal is going to affect how long it's going to take to hit that goal. But let's just make sense. Let's make it make sense and understand that we have to allocate time to actually working. So how much of that time are you going to work? Now, granted, because you are an entrepreneur, you're not doing, big blocks you're not necessarily doing 9 to 5 of just this one thing. Let's make that, and see, that's the other thing. Don't say, oh, I'm at work from 8:30 to 5. Well, what are you doing? Angelique just put there, we organize and work that job. What must happen between 8:30 and 5? Because if you just leave it open, then you're not likely to execute. You're going to spend time trying to figure out what am I supposed to be doing with this time. You guys are going to see an example of my calendar. Even when I have a time blocked, that block has tasks. Here's what you should be doing when it's time to follow up. Here's what you should be hitting when it's time to have that operations meeting. When you guys get that level of clarity, clarity brings better execution. A lot of us are not executing because we're not clear on what we should be doing, when we should be doing it, how long we should be doing it, and how to get it done. When you get clarity on what you should be doing, when you should be doing it, how long you should be doing it, and how to do it, I promise you, all of a sudden, the light bulb turns on. Chris would say, that's my issue. Yeah. Right? So, calendar your big rocks first. Now, like we saw in the video spoke a lot to, your personal life, your family, yourself, other personal endeavors. For the purposes of our conversation, we need to obviously keep in mind that we're talking about our business, right? Now you're gonna fold it. You do fold into that business. If you do it right, see, that's the challenge. If you do it right, then by default, the time for yourself and your family should be there as well. Does that make sense? Right? If you cause this thing, if you put things in their places, then by default, you should have time for these other things. And those things should be on your calendar. When do you go to the gym? When do you take time to rest? When do you meditate? When do you spend time with your significant others? When do you travel? One thing I told my husband today, I was like, listen, this weekend, we need to put our December travel on the calendar. Angelique, don't you pop in, because I know you have all your monthly trips. See, she traveled too much. I should say too much. The travel should be on the calendar. Let me see. So let's check it. Okay, Marshall says, my big God, devotion, health, and business. God, that's right. Early morning and then business. Income producing activities first. Perfect. Now, what are those income producing activities? For us as humans, we literally have to make it that specific. Because again, clarity will make execution easier, right? So I'm glad Marshall dropped that in the chat, because she says income producing activities first. You hit it right on the head. The definition of time is an appointed, fixed, or customary moment or hour for something to happen, begin, or end. Time. An appointed, fixed, or customary moment or hour for something to happen, begin, or end. So it's funny, as I read this definition, I think about the same one. People say, I don't have time for that. I do not have an appointed, fixed, or customary moment to deal with that. And that's how you have to look at it. If someone comes in with something, I do not have a fixed, an appointed time, an appointed moment to deal with that. Now, some things you should. You are missing the boat, and you should have an appointed, fixed, or customary moment or hour for something to happen or begin. That is the definition of time. Time management. I am managing the hours for things to happen, begin or end. Right? Exactly. Note takers, note taking in the chat. That's what I'm talking about, Marshall. And so for your big rocks, Marshall put it in the chat, income producing activities. What are they? I would suggest your big rocks for your business, marketing. That has to be, that's a non-negotiable. But guess what I'm gonna tell you that's even more important than marketing, because I've told you guys before, marketing is passive. It has to happen. It's going to, because it supports your prospecting. Marketing supports your direct contact. So marketing has to happen. And I can tell you that marketing, luckily, for the most part, you can market potentially once a month, or definitely at least once a year, because marketing, because of what we got going on with social media and your website, you can set that and forget it. You can calendar the marketing. The follow-up, Jasmine said, yes, the fortune is in the follow-up. The follow-up is the proactive. I used this example before. Marketing is shotgun. Prospecting is sniper. You guys know the difference between the shotgun and the sniper, right? Sniper, I'm pointing dead at it, bullseye. I know exactly who I want to talk to. I know exactly who I would like to hear from me. Marketing, you just blow it out there. You post something on social media. I may log into my website, to my account that day or not, right? But marketing, I know exactly. It is laser focused. I know exactly who I need to speak to, and I know exactly who should be hearing from me. So that's a big rock. What if that's not on your calendar? If you can't look at your calendar right now and see that blocked off, we have a problem. Because what? That's your funnel. This is how you guys get to the closing table. That closing table is right there behind me. That's how you get there. We don't get there any other way than closing the deal with someone who agrees to what? List their house with us, agrees to not just meet us on the buyer consultation, but go under contract. Let's be even more clear about what we need. I don't need you to just meet with me. I need you to go under contract and close. See, that's what we make a mistake too. Let's not lose lose sight of the real goal. The real goal, even after you meet with them, is to, number one, get that listing agreement signed, or let's get you under contract. There you go. 1 to 3 p.m. luxury meeting for Atlanta area scheduled for today. What is on your calendar? That's what I'm going to start hitting you guys with. What is on your calendar? Let me write that down. What is on your calendar? You guys are going to be ready for that. What is on your calendar? Now, the next step is not just what's on there, but what did you execute on that's on your calendar today? Time, an appointed, fixed, or customary moment or hour for something to happen, begin, or end. Admin, you have to, once you're on the contract, even if you have a transaction coordinator, you can't just set it and forget it, right? But this is less, this is a big rock, but it's a smaller big rock, right? The boulder, let's put it that way. The boulders are your prospecting and your marketing, in that order. Prospecting, marketing, those are your boulders in your business. Remember, Marshall said God, family, business. God, family, business. Every category has its boulders. Admin is important. You can't just let the contracts, the contract to close process go to the wayside. Trainings, you got to be on your trainings, right? Luckily, it doesn't take but 5 minutes for you guys to log on, and we're on here. You're hearing what you need to hear, and now you can go execute. You don't have to travel. Some of y'all ain't even dressed. Some of y'all in the bed, and that's fine. Just get it in. Right? What is the appointed, fixed, or customary moment or hour for your trainings to happen? You got to learn. Learn more to earn more. Learn more to earn more. Always be learning. Learn more to earn more. You do 3 trainings a month, exactly. And then your appointments. What time is allocated to appointments? What time is allocated to your appointments, either your buyer consultations or your listing appointments? And again, depending upon how effective your follow-up is, you may not have appointments every day, every week, right? And you should have something every week, at least something. You should have a buyer consultation. If you don't have appointments every week, we need to get on the call because something's wrong, right? Something's missing there, right? These are some of your, there you go, 40 note cards a month, right? These are some of your big rocks. Guard the time that is scheduled for big rocks. When we get off this call, what are your big rocks in your personal life, in your family, in your business? What are they and where must they be on your calendar? Lastly, here's a hack. Consider providing your availability for listing appointments, buyer consultations, closing, inspections, appraisals, etc. Don't just let vendors, even the partners, they're going to shoot you the time that works best for them. And if you don't speak up and say, well, actually, I have, my inspections or my appraisals, this is the time I have available. And even these aren't priority, right? A listing appointment, of course, you're going to give them greater priority than your buyer consultations. As a matter of fact, you know what? I'm going to share this note with you guys because this was amazing to me. The founder of Calendly, who you guys have been hearing me talk about, the founder of Calendly, talking about time management. And I was on a training call with them, I think it was last week, and I have notes, and it's right here on my desk. So the event types, even he has his event types that people can schedule with him as urgent, important, regular priority, and low priority. This is the founder of Calendly, right? Urgent, important, regular priority, low priority. So this is what people are doing. This is what your professionals are doing on a high level. And you guys, so I'll say this, the CEO of Calendly has his calendar appointments, his availability scheduled that way. You guys, the CEO of your very own real estate business, need to allow the people that get on your calendar, the things that get on your calendar, sort them out. Sort it out. Urgent, important, regular priority, low priority. Last hack I'll give you guys, last two actually. Make sure you have a visual reminder of what you should be doing. This is a screenshot of my phone. I'm looking at my phone all day. And then, like I told you, once you click on each of those in the notes section, you see a couple line items, not just emails, but which emails first. Not just, during the new business prospecting follow-up, who am I following up with first? During my trainings, and my trainings stay on my calendar. Right? Even my workout, vitamins, because I'll forget, I'm terrible about that. I'll be first to admit. My husband's on here, he will tell you that I still don't take the vitamins every day, but that's my reminder. And of course, they're color coded. You have different calendars. Now here's the other one, because life, what they say, life be lifing. You need an alarm. So not just visual, but my phone starts going off in this office. Ding, 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 ding. Ding, 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 ding. Because the little soft alert they give you on the calendar is, they don't really do it. Because what's the difference? The calendar just gives you a little alert, a little like soft little, hey, okay, it's time for your email. The alarm will keep going off until you acknowledge that you heard it. Alarms for everything. Exactly. So here's the little, what they call it, Pavlov. If you do hit that alarm and you don't do it, you don't do it, but you're gonna acknowledge that it was not done. All right. I use the classic waste of dead. I know, isn't it the worst when someone uses your alarm as their ringtone? You're like, this is not time for that. So listen, in closing, because I want to make sure we stay on schedule. Either you run the day or the day runs you. I just want to take it back to the top. In closing, reminder, either you run the day or the day runs you. Either you run the day or the day runs you. Either you run the day or the day runs you. And then you make it personal. Either I run my day or I let the day run me. Some of those emails are not priority. Some of those text messages are not priority, right? Some of those calls are not priority. Use your do not disturb function, right? And make sure that you have your big rocks. You need clear what needs to be done, when it needs to be done, how it needs to be done, and how long. Big rocks, follow-up, marketing, training, appointments, exercise, sleep. Those are the big things. And you'll be surprised how much more efficient you get. The last thing I'll tell you, I'll go back to sometimes, things change based upon your priorities. Some of y'all who know me personally, I'm doing this 75-day hard, and it requires an additional workout that was not part of my schedule previously. So my day had to change. I had to do some multitask, I had to flip some stuff, had to wake up a little bit earlier. Some things had to be shifted around, but I'm committed to it. And committing to that has really, when you commit to something like that, 75 hard, the tasks are not hard. It's the time allocation that's hard. When you commit to something like that, you become a time management fool, right? So with that being said, that's our time. Add to your calendar. Speaking of time and calendaring, add to your calendar. Monday at 10 a.m. now going forward is our Monday sales huddle. We've been having a very good time these last few Mondays. Monday, Modern Mortgage Experts Monday, mindset, new money and market updates. Let me tell you guys something. There's nothing like setting your intention, setting your energy, and setting your mindset for a productive and powerful work week. I tell you guys all the time, even if you have a fantastic showing over the weekend, you get an offer, you go under contract, you send your contract in for closing, that's old money. It is time for new money. So on Monday mornings, I need you guys' mindset to be set on new money. And then of course, market updates. What are you going to go talk about? You guys are the professionals. I told you guys before, in this market, it is the professional that is going to win. You're going to win because you're not going to get exhausted with what's going on in the market, but you're also going to shine. Your customers are looking to you to tell them what is going on. What should I buy? Should I sell? Should I not? Oh yeah, you're a professional, right? That's your program. Lastly, these are the trainings for August. Now listen, speaking of calendaring, our classes. So we have a switch coming up for August. Thursday huddles, the scheduled time, those will now be the times that we have our classes. Where we were having classes on Tuesdays, our substantive classes on Tuesdays, they have flipped to Thursdays. So we're teaching our classes on Thursdays, and our sales huddle is on Mondays. I had to rearrange my schedule for where I am in this season. So there we are. So in this season, starting August, on Thursdays from 12 until 2 generally, and if it's the 3-hour contract class, our substantive classes are on Thursdays. Our huddles are on Mondays at 10 in the morning. All right, you guys will get reminders about that. You'll see it in the community. You'll see it in the emails. You see it in the text message. Many of you have already been getting text messages about the Monday huddles, but these are the classes that'll be taught coming in August on Thursdays. All right. Lastly, again, talking about calendaring, you should see when you get your confirmation for the classes an ad event for you to have the events calendar added to your calendar. Here we go, efficiencies. You should see that already in your confirmation emails. If you click add to calendar, all the classes will add automatically to your calendar. Include on your calendar a save the date, Friday, September 8th, 2023. We are going to be live together. We've been talking about this for some time now. We are going to come together live, just trying to confirm the best venue based on our head count. We may end up having to limit it, but we'll see what happens. But save the date, Friday, September 8th. Friday, September 8th, we are going to come together live. I can't wait either. Lastly, if you guys don't already follow me on social, follow me. Let's chat. Let's chat. All right. All right, guys. That is our huddle. Look forward to seeing everybody on Monday.
Thank you. Have a great weekend. Bye.
Angela, what are you typing?
Thank you. This was great.
I saw your text, Ms. Ko. I will be calling you shortly.
Okay, no worries.
That was a great lunch.